SHODO-X 変身 変身
Hey guys, welcome to the 58th episode of the Soda Pop Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Frozen Stratos. Here with me today we have...
Zone.
Wow. Okay, cool. Awesome. That's Malunis. We're down a Josh this week because he's got work, and that sucks. So send some love his way. But we've got plenty of news coming out of the Soto blog this week. Or not Soto blog, the more Kamen Rider Candy Toy blog. I really gotta start calling it that.
And a little bit of follow-up to the last one.
There is?
Yeah, about how great we are at noticing things.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Yeah, and then stuff we didn't catch in last week's thing. So, you know what? Right off the top, we should probably talk about that one since we haven't already. Kuga's getting a bike, his Tri-Chaser.
You know what's great about that too is that the text associated with that photo it says something along the lines of, "And now a random one shot." It's almost like it's bringing attention to the fact. It's almost like they're saying, "I'm just gonna leave this right here."
Yeah, and I didn't see it. It wasn't just us that didn't realize it for 5 days. I didn't see it posted anywhere else. None of the Japanese outlets I follow saw it, or at least said anything about it over social media.
Nice. So I just want to toss this out there. I've been thinking about this all day today, basically. Do you think this is going to be a Soto Chronicle bike, or is this possibly going to be something Shodo related? I guess we already got a reveal for what's coming up next in Shodo, so it can't be that, but still.
Yeah, I mean, sure, there was a Shodo version of the figure released, but I highly doubt it's that. I mean, I know the same dude's working on it, but I feel like they're trying to really maximize Kuga in this space in Soto. So it has to be a Soto bike.
Mm-hmm.
Full stop.
There's pretty much no point to me speculating whether it's Shodo or Soto, and I even tossed into the Discord not too long ago saying, "Hey, wouldn't it be interesting if they said, we're doing a new version of Shodo Kuga, and the bike is our first Soto-compatible Shodo bike."
I mean, then why make it at all? Why would you create a product to compete with yourself?
I did say it was kind of a pointless thing to speculate on.
That's true. Yeah,
although
good point.
Blade Raider does also bring up a good point, saying that they could potentially just say, we're doing a Shodo version of the Kuga manga design, because apparently the bike is identical in the manga.
Hey man, if they do that, full props. That's obviously you're not using the same mold, but you're ebbing off of the same flow that Soto's doing. So that really works. I feel like that's a very natural way for that to go. If Kuga is still on the table for Shoto, that would be a very neat inclusion.
That being said,
interesting. That would be a neat place to stick all the comic stuff.
Yeah, that being said, I also I obviously don't have any Shodo bikes. Maybe that could change one day. We'll get to that later. But I was gonna ask, how do they handle the handlebars, with the hands? Because that was my thought, was if they were to make it a Soto compatible bike, I wonder if they would have to change anything about the handlebars.
I mean, you could, the handles are a separate piece if you wanted to make, a thicker, because it's made out of PVC typically, and it just sort of pegs in, for most of them that I've seen, and they have the handles that are, the full handles and not just a peg, So if you wanted to make a SHODO compatible one, that you could, and then reuse that mold for both SHODO and SHODO. But really, where my head's at, and where I'm pretty sure everyone's head is at, is that it's probably going to be another P Bandai set. And then Josh was speculating, we might get another SHODO limited color version, because the regular release is so close to being fully painted that if you just threw another couple dollars at it, you could get the full thing.
Oh my! So you just made me remember something. So you know how Figuarts kind of did a thing that seemed a little bit questionable, where they re-released their Figuarts Kuga and called it the Decade version.
Yeah. Yes.
Apparently, the difference is that in Decade they added more of a metallic red to the armor. Mm-hmm. So it's like, now that you mentioned that actually does kind of make sense.
I mean, obviously it would still be the regular Kuga, but if they were able to freaking do that, that would get another purchase out of me, legitimately. And if they wanted, they could do, I mean, this would be separate from a limited color release, but if they wanted to, they could do Decade version plus manga version if they wanted to throw that into SHODO, because I think even though you could do Kuga in SHODO, I mean, really all you have to do is swap out the armor parts for the SHODO release, and then you could just have your SHODO Kuga or SHODO Kuga. And I think the belt is a little different, just in terms of color. I'm not too up on my character model sheets for the manga guys, but
I had to kind of look at a picture of the design just to kind of get an idea of what's different about it. It's mostly in the red armor.
Well, I mean, the armor still, it looks more muscly than it does anything else. Because I own the
Saga
full action figure Saga figure. Yeah, like the only other figure of that to ever be released ever. But it's in the realm of possibility. If they wanted to do a Kuga complete set, that would, I
actually did talk a little bit about that in the Discord, because I was saying, it actually would make sense for them to make a figure of the manga design, because they already did that one time.
They did, yeah. So I'm still really sad that line failed. I'm gonna get on my soapbox about full action figure Saga, but the whole thing of it, they're just around the same size as RKF, but they're so much cheaper, so much more articulation. I don't understand how that line operated at all. Sure, no one got accessories, but but no one was mad at it because it was so cheap and fully articulated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was
sure paint was missing, but
yeah. When I brought him up in the chat, I was saying that I always wanted to get one of those figures just to see what it was like, but I was also thinking it is basically RKF scale, so right now the purpose it would serve is, do you not have the patience for RKF to get to Kuga, Faiz, and Kiva? Then go for Saga.
I mean, I don't think anyone would have the patience for them to get to the manga one, and that one, it comes with a copy of the manga if you want it. It's a neat set, and the only tie-in of that, and to have it vaguely scale with your other RKFs is pretty dope.
Yeah, that part's cool.
Yeah, so I feel like that would be, if you are curious about the line, that would be the one to sort of throw your money at. But yeah, so once again, I wish that line didn't die, but also, this is a SHODO podcast.
I was about to say, speaking of redesigns.
Redesign. Oh, are we gonna? Yeah, I guess all of them are, except for like a little bit. Well, we'll first talk about that top part. We're not gonna dive right into X10 that got revealed, because we got a product reveal or product review of Amazon's, because it's coming out at the time of this recording. It's coming out tomorrow in Japan. It's coming out Monday in Japan, the 1st of June. April, May, June. Yeah, June. And they were talking about how they were able to get, all the colors onto these guys. The green that was used on Omega, the shoulders and the head, that got a metallic spray of paint, while the rest of the body is done in a metallic plastic. Once again, I'm interested to see what that's going to look like in hand.
Yeah, I was going to say the coloring, I could tell that there was some parts that are painted because it's a little bit more shiny, but otherwise the shades kind of work. I can notice I can notice the color difference a little bit more on Alpha.
Yeah, and also it makes sense that those were painted, obviously, because that's where the PVC is. Yeah, like, Shodo does that strange thing. I mean, like, I still, to this day, ever since Shodo's inception, I don't know how to feel about the shoulder pads, because they are made of PVC, and it's made out of pliable plastic, so it'll get away or get out of it'll get out of the way when you're posing the shoulder, but not enough so that it won't like push it back down. But like it's a neat way to incorporate not necessarily a joint, but that range of motion. I don't know, man. It's so interesting. I want to see it improved and iterated upon, but I don't know. I want them to make it easier to use, but it's tough. Yeah. Literally and figuratively, because it is tough plastic. Yeah. Anyway, the black gloves and boots got a not metallic, but like a glossy finish to make it look like the actual material.
They look like they're again. Go ahead. They definitely look like they're made of rubber.
Absolutely, yeah. Like they're getting, as much as I can say about the paint difference between the shoulder pads, the head, and the rest of the body, they really do well with that glossy black. That looks so good. Yeah. Then we get to Alpha, and also Alpha's Season 2 form. The green stripes on him are done up using tampagraphs, I think, is what they were saying, which was a tough thing for them to do. But, obviously, this is Shodo. This is D-Man. He's got to do it. Like, it's going to happen.
I'd be interested to find out what the tampograph thing is all about, because I'm familiar with that term being used with Transformers all the time, but I never really heard it in the context of, oh, this is a really hard thing to do.
I mean, I assume, at least for Transform, it's probably more like a stamping technique, right?
Oh, and yeah, because
to have it tampographed onto like flatter surfaces, like on Transformers, I'd assume that'd be a lot easier than to do it on like curved pieces like this.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I'm looking at the thighs. Yeah, that would be very difficult to get right.
Yeah. So big ups to them if they were able. Obviously you could get like, I don't know fully how this works. I assume it's a stamping-ish technology, but if you got like a rounded, like almost a second mold of the figure, but with the stamps on it, and then they press in, I think that might be how that works. I do want to see, because like, once again, I'm still scarred from my Agito set. I really hope the detail comes out well, and not like how my Agito set just had some strange paint defects over everything. Maybe it wasn't even paint defects, like mold defects, where the mold wasn't like set enough or something. But I am interested to see how aligned everything looks.
Obviously, right now is probably not the time to do a bunch of spending, but Have you considered like getting a replacement for that?
Oh, I always consider it, but and like I cycle those in around Mandarake every now and again. Same with Shoto-X set 3. I think I erroneously kept calling it 2, but 3 with the extra Ichigo and Nigo. Like those are the two sets that I keep cycling about in my shopping cart on Mandarake. When they go in stock, I add them, but then I don't want to like check out with them, and then they go out of stock, and the cycle continues. So I've definitely been considering it.
Oh, when it comes to the paint and how I pointed out how alpha, you can really tell the difference in the colors.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a big deal when you get it in hand, because in my experience, seeing toys that have that sort of color difference, you're going to notice it better when it's done by professional photographers and not when it's under your home lights.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be saying this later because our topic is going to be... I'm going to be talking about the YU-DO X Kiramagers, but like some of the pictures that people took of those guys made the stickers on the arms look a lot shinier than they are in person. And it really helped getting them in person. And I kept saying I was going to skip those stickers, but I put them on. They're pretty nice.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I do wonder when we're going to be getting these Shoto traffic cones. Hoping that's going to get a future release.
or the bags. The sacks.
I don't know about the bags, honestly, because they've never gone into soft goods, but hey, I'll take them.
They just got very dedicated diorama makers.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, you get both versions of Alpha. He looks great. Love the way these guys look, and in the other less dramatic lighting, the difference between the two, the painted areas and the plastic is hard to tell. Also, Amazon singular. He got a pretty incredible upgrade from his Shoto Versus form. Unlike V3X and Stronger, they actually made the big hip joint improvement, which is good. They also really toned down the sort of painted detail and made it so that you can actually see etched in some places, but like raised detail and picked out in pink. The swirls in his suit.
The stripes look really bad on the original. It's like using a red marker over that dark color plastic.
Yeah, not even a red Gundam marker, just a red Sharpie.
Exactly.
So this is a far and away a wonderful improvement. Because obviously, I do wonder if they did take more of a clear red approach to it, and then here they obviously mixed it in with some white in order to create that contrast. So that's wonderful.
I wonder I guess because it's the difference is Shoto and Shodo-X. Is how much of a price difference is there?
I genuinely don't remember. We could probably go back, and do what we did with dividing out the Ami prices, but
it would still require a lot of digging. But I was going to say go to the Bandai website.
Sure. Yeah. You're right. That probably makes a lot more sense. I'm sure someone else could do that, but I don't want to slow down the news segment for that. So we'll put that as a maybe later sort of thing.
Regardless, I was just bringing that up to say I feel like the difference between them might actually be the amount of paint they can use. Because wow. I don't know. Maybe it's just they've gotten smarter with the way they apply it.
I think there's obviously they've gotten smarter with it as well. Like there are just some improvements that come with improving the mold, and simplifying certain things in some areas so you can make things more elaborate in others. But then also, like, the wave itself, how it's laid out, is very different than Shoto Versus.
Yeah.
And how you can distribute the budget. Because their whole pull was the chase figure. And they had smaller boxes. I don't know. I feel like there are different considerations with X than there are with regular Versus.
Yeah.
So...
He's got the hips, he's got the hips, which makes him do his usual pose way better.
Yeah, he can squat way deeper, and it looks great. Good stuff, man. It also helps him sit on his bike, which is the largest bike in Shoto history. Probably because of the wings and that really huge head at the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks good. I'm really excited to get this. And I believe when we saw this the first time, I didn't know if those like struts in between the wings, if that was a molding choice for Shoto or if it was actually a thing that's real. And I'm pretty sure someone corrected me and said those are actually real things that just sort of exist on the back of his bike. So cool. I'm glad. But that's not all for the Shoto blog, because obviously we got our very first looks at X10. What we talked about just now was X9, which came out this month or next month. It comes out soon. So X10 should be on the horizon very soon. And it's Kabuto, man! I'm so excited!
I held another, just kind of for fun, poll, just saying, what do you think Shoto is going to do today? And it ended up being a tie between people wanting... It was basically a bunch of votes of people really wanting specific things. They had an equal amount of votes for a remake of an old figure. Hey, you got that. And wanting figures from Forza all the way to Ghost, because I thought eventually they're going to have to get to one of these series.
Yeah, I mean, genuinely, I thought they were about to remake Rider Man, because they talked about him in the last blog, saying he was like the last one they needed to complete like, group of 7.
You know what? Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. I know he's coming. I'm not worried about it, because like that's a very sought after figure, mostly because he was one of the ones that were a chase variant.
Got another one here
because of his extra hands, but yeah. Hey, anyway, this is really cool. He's got every version of the Kabuto Kunai gun, so the gun, the knife, and the axe version.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I do kind of want to see. Yeah, like the gun and axe version are different, because the axe actually has like an axe extended out.
It's the Toei proportions.
Yes. He's got new hands, it looks like. Though they didn't say anything about the whole drop crotch, so I don't know if that got an improvement. You know,
when he's doing his the first image where he's doing the pointing pose, you can see that the crotch is like one of them is definitely pulled down a little bit farther.
Sure, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm seeing that, but it could. I don't want to get my hopes up, but it could just be like, you know.
It would actually make sense because his rider kick is like a roundhouse kick, and I think he would be able to do that with that sort of hip.
That's true. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, it did say, I hope you enjoy the Kabuto that has been completely renewed to the X specification. I'm not quite sure what else that would entail, but I am looking forward to seeing what they have in store for, you know, whenever they do the blog update for this guy. If you look at the seam line of the belt when he's holding the kunai, that clock up pad is definitely exactly half painted. So your mileage is gonna vary on these paint apps. Actually, no, it won't. You will invariably get half of a painted clock up pad. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's Shoto. It's all in one box. Like these Shoto has recreated the impossible frame every single time. So, you gotta give it props for that.
Plus, you're also getting a little bit of something extra. Alternate parts.
What?
Or is it alternate parts, or is it just like a whole separate figure of Hyperform?
Oh, I wasn't even talking about Hyper yet, but yeah, we're getting Hyper.
Yeah, I was saying you're at least getting a little something extra you didn't get with the previous Kabuto.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's not an upgrade set. This is a completely different figure. There are upgrade parts in the extended set to give him the clocked up version, or the All Sector version, maximum Hyper Cyclone, Hyper Clock Up. Yeah. When his wings are out and his chest is open and the frills, the wings frill out. It looks so good, man. I'm so excited. We haven't gotten, I don't think, like a second form, or a not second form, but like final form recently outside of Stronger, which is, I'm glad that we upgraded from going to Stronger to Strongest here with this release. So yeah, man, this Kabuto looks so good. Like I said, haven't had a final form recently. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember. Even when Fize got his second form, he never got Blaster.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so hyped for this. Sadly, no Gatak. I can't have my favorite boy, but
no mask form either.
Geo spoilers, he is Kabuto. So look at this. Your friend Kagami is standing right here, pointing as if Tendo would.
Nice.
So yeah, dude, it's so good. Oh my god, I love this. Kabuto was, I think you were saying it was like your first series. It was one of my first as well. So it holds a special place for me too. God, I love Kabuto.
And the other guy in this wave.
Why don't you talk about him? You seem to be very excited.
Yes, I was saying in the Discord that Kabuto happens to be my first writer show, so it holds a special place in my heart. And also, Super 1 is here, and he's my favorite show writer design, so I might be keeping an eye out for pre-orders. Begrudgingly. But yeah,
man.
Super 1, he was one of the ones from the Days of the Chase variant, because he has many hands.
Yep.
And they're all included here in one set.
In Versus, that's when I wised up to actually buying the full sets. So I do have this guy, and he was one of the more recent ones. So he's one of the ones where I feel like if I was a standard collector, I would probably skip this one. But since I'm a completionist, this one's definitely getting thrown into my collection.
Plus, they're kind of sweetening the deal by giving you his bike. I don't really care that much, but hey, cool.
Fair. But, I mean, also, the hands got revised. Not necessarily the form change hands, but the standard ones. They made it so that the glove cutoff and the wrist are two different peg-in swivels.
Oh, I see it.
So, yeah. So, now the wrists move. So that's good, and you'll be able to swap all those out. That's really, I don't know why I keep using that to conjoin sentences, but you can. This is something new to Shodo. We've never had that segmented piece, but this is something that we've seen in Soto, and there's all sorts of cross-referencing in between, just because D-Man is working on both of these, so once
Yeah.
again, it's interesting to see them cross paths every now and again. If something improves there, an improvement could be made in the other side of it.
Yeah, even within SHODO, it was like the day that we got middle build, I remember thinking, oh, it's really smart that they worked in that forearm, kind of swappable forearm, and then I scrolled down, oh, Kuga also does the forearm thing.
Yeah.
So it's like even within SHODO, the two different teams are kind of interacting there.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for this release.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, in the extended part set, you'll get everything you need for Hyper Kabuto clocked up, the sword, the perfect Zector. You get the gun and the sword form because the hinge moves, and then also you could have the fully loaded and unloaded version of the weapon, because they give you an option sword. I do wonder. I'm really hoping Hyper Kabuto gets gets the lion's share of the pack. Like, you'll get 2 of him, because I do want 2 of the the clocked the Hyper Kabuto and clocked up Hyper Kabuto.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's going to be the layout, but I don't know. Yeah. So
I don't wanna...
and also premium Bandai stuff. If you haven't gotten those already, there are some that are coming up on a deadline. So the O's birth unit, the one with the 2 birth figures and the entire scorpion crawler thing, that's going to be ending June 9th, 2020 at 11 p.m. in Japan, Japan time.
Yeah.
And then after that, oh yeah, that's the only one that has an approaching deadline. Yeah.
I assume it's doing well.
I would assume so as well. I hope so. They didn't say anything about it.
I'm sure they did, because the way I was explaining it to someone recently, it seems like the pattern is always, hey, we released a premium Bandai set up for pre-order, and then the next week, hey, this did really, really well.
Yeah. Better than we expected. Recorded at a higher volume than anticipated.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Also, this is barely news because we don't benefit from this at all. But there's a Wonder School thing where you can take, and I don't know if it's taking classes or following along, but it's for photography for pre-K, for 1st through 3rd grade, and then 1st through high school grades. It's classes to help you take pictures of your figures, and you can submit your work, and assuming provided you're in Japan, they'll if they like your thing, they'll send you, I think once a month or something, they'll send you an item. You could be selected to get that item sent.
Photography contest, I guess.
Huh?
I guess you could just say it's a photography contest.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, I do really appreciate that they themselves are promoting the use of foil with your
middle cluster
hopper.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's the first time I saw that, I thought it was so cool, and to see it promoted here is really awesome as well. So yeah, there are, if you live in Japan and are somehow listening to this, go ahead, take pictures of your stuff, take the course. I mean, it seems cool. I wish I lived in Japan and was of the age to participate in this.
Got a nice photo of Kuga. That's a real recent thing.
Yeah. that looks really good. And if you want to, I keep talking as if I'm advertising because, but I know that no one listening to this is gonna know, or not know, but like, no one listening to this is going to be able to take part in this.
Yeah,
so
you know how I feel about this kind of news is back when I was doing like X8 and build stuff on Tumblr, there would be some news like where to pre-order tickets for the movie or hey, casting call. I would just treat that news like this is only relevant if you're in Japan, in which case you probably know how to read this, so I don't need to translate.
Fair, good point. I like the only way I would care if I accidentally like mistranslated this, or the thing Google Translate mistranslated this, and there might actually be like a limited version that gets sent to you or something. I doubt that's the case, but it would be interesting. I would be upset, but I'm glad. I don't know. I just made this more difficult for myself. Hey, Kishi art.
Yeah.
The rest of them are revealed, and these are always beautiful. I wish I collected these.
Yeah. I wonder how big these are because they are really nice pieces of art.
Yeah. These. Oh man. It's clear that some of these are like more well done than others, and it might be a thing of like rarity or something. I'm not sure how these work, but at any tier, at any level of these things, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
They're so well done, and the foil is just exquisite. They released so far they've done 15 of them, and there's one more remaining. This week they showed off the gold and silver build, the build cross dragon something.
The text is right there on the image.
Oh, is it really?
Rabbit dragon form.
Yeah, Kamen Rider build rabbit dragon form. Oma Geo, Rampage Vulcan, Burning Falcon, and Thouser.
The Jin one is definitely my favorite.
That looks really good. I haven't watched Ryuki. If you're saying from this week's stuff, my favorite is the build one. Mm-hmm. But overall, I haven't watched Ryuki, but that Ryuki one is just incredible.
And anytime they do something that's just a big group shot of every character, I'm really into that. That definitely requires a lot of dedication.
Yeah. Also, the Ankh and Putotira. That one's so good. Man.
I didn't really catch what it was, but there was something in the Thouser one where they mentioned, hey, if you like such and such, then fill out the survey.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I mean, this is something that we should be pushing for more of, and that going forward we'll probably be reminding you a lot more about. But once you finish stickering and building your SHODO figure, head over to the surveys, because like they truly matter. A lot of the fan favorite stuff happens because of the surveys, so it's important, you know. And we gotta let them know. Like I would honestly say filling out those surveys might be more important than filling out the bluefin ones. Just because we are directly affecting the line itself. Because, as much as I want more stuff localized, God, do I want more stuff localized. We have a direct effect on the main line. Like, if they do localize SHODO, we're really only looking for the premium stuff, because the mainline stuff, that's going to be very expensive, and it probably won't be feasible for any of us to get it, and we'll probably still be importing them. So to affect our status quo, our daily, not daily, but like, our monthly fix of this stuff, that it's a pretty important survey. And there are pretty fun things in there. Like, you could check if you want diorama playset-ish things, like that's a dedicated thing to check off.
Yeah, and I'll also say, if anyone is concerned about the language barrier there, I was using the Google Translate extension on the browser just to automatically translate it to English, and it's pretty readable.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been using to translate the blogs every week. And it's been working for me just fine. And if you open up Chrome on your phone, it's like native to it. So, you know, you're good to go. You know what? We'll continue to provide a link in the description down below, because once again, it's one of the most important things for this line.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that even though we've talked before about how like there's a QR code on the box of the toys, you don't actually need that. You can just go to a specific website link.
Yeah.
And I think it was also interesting how like you mentioned, they will ask if there's any particular thing you would like to see. They are still specifying whether or not you want a Magia set, apparently. Well, not a set. It just says commercialization of Magia.
Right. And they're probably talking, because like Magia is their overall term, because like we got the Trilobite one, we still could get the other Magia.
Yeah, and I checked that one, but also I was you can also like leave a custom response, and this time last time I said Izu, but then I also said if a whole Magia set is too much to do, then at the very least Barotha. Like, it's not just because of the meme of Gut Bustin' Taro, it's also because, hey, episode 1 monster. That's pretty cool to have.
Sure. I mean, like, I want that. I just want all the army buildable stuff.
Yeah.
And if we could put that in an army buildable pack, once again, like, something that spurred this on for me to talk more about it is when Vangelis had said, how do we, get in touch with the powers that be to get me a army building set that I could just buy in perpetuity. Something like that. So that's how, that's how we can make that happen. But I realize I'm probably preaching to the choir. Please fill out those surveys if you haven't.
And also, I would definitely encourage, like, at the very end of the survey, they ask you if you have any sort of thoughts. And they also specify if you have any words for Mr. G and the people working on SHODO. And I would encourage, whether you use Google Translate or you just do it in your own language, just tell them that you're cheering them on.
Yeah, man, send some love. Like, they're really dedicated people. And I'm so grateful for the blog they do every week. It's such a treat. This would not exist without the blog. So send some love their way. This is some really good stuff. Really cool people working on some really fun projects.
Also, one of the things you can tell them is that one of the reasons you enjoy SHODO is the blog.
Yes, that. Do that as well. Oh, also, ask for the candy back. I want the candy back.
There's a limit on the amount of text you can do for a custom response, but I did consider at one point, should I just say at least include different flavors? Just to spice it up a little bit.
That's not the thing. For me, it's consistency. I need a different consistency in the thing. I don't want gum anymore. I want something I can eat. Yeah, no, I don't know. That's my whole thing. But yeah, fill those out if you haven't already. It's a good time. Yeah. Hey. Also.
Yeah.
Turns out they're fitting in little teasers for what's coming up in the next wave and the wave before it. So AI07, they revealed a little bit about what the box is looking like, and the text read, "Hey, look out for Ikazuchi in the next wave of AI08," and it's basically confirming that we're getting Ikazuchi in AI08. They even put out the full wave layout without the actual images of Ikazuchi, which is interesting because they've never done that. I do wonder if they're like hiding something really cool that they wanted a dedicated blog space for. So I don't want to like get my hopes up for anything game changing, but I am curious. It might just be like, something you won't notice about the figure that they're really proud of.
Also,
and we can be happy for them about, or it could be something big. I don't know.
You were saying SHODO Kamen Rider 01 AI08 featuring Kamen Rider Geo. I think you meant SHODO Kamen Rider Geo Ride 13 featuring Heisei Clear Blue, as they called it.
You're right.
Also, I was looking at that that lineup that you were mentioning, and I thought, oh, it's kind of interesting. Even though they haven't shown out the figure, the text for the first two is Ikazuchi body, Ikazuchi armor. So hey, they are splitting those into two different things too. I guess that makes sense.
And I had to talk to you before I finished up the blog, and I was like, this is translating it to like squid or thunder or something. Is this Ikazuchi? Yep. I don't know what's going on here. And you confirmed it for me. It's Ikazuchi happening.
If you know the kanji, it's like the one that's used in Metsubo Jinrai. That episode is very painful because there was literally a character named Raiden, which is the same kanji as Ikazuchi.
Oh.
It's like, oh, if you know you're Japanese, then it's like, oh, I immediately know what's going to happen to you.
Okay, interesting. Well, I mean, like, knowing Japanese shouldn't be like, a handicap or anything. That's the original language of this show. So if you had that information going forward, it's not like you're cheating. That's information they had.
But yeah, AI08.
Yeah, AI08, man. Looking good. That's gonna be next week.
I love that for several weeks now. I, as well as Blade Raider, I think specifically, have been just predicting, okay, they're going to reveal Ikazuchi now. They literally have nothing else they can reveal. And now it's like, this post has just been like, yes, it's coming.
Yeah. Also, we're still dodging it. Calm down. We get it. It's Ikazuchi, but we won't show you till next week.
that little text blurb for AI07, like that little one down there, the teaser, that kind of made me go, oh, I have not even been noticing whether there's text on there. I've not been paying attention to that.
It doesn't even matter if there's, for me, it doesn't matter if there's text, because I'm not going to go over there and translate it.
Might as well just say, enjoy the product.
Yeah. Also, it says, so I assume, Ikazuchi is next week, but it says, and this is translated, and leaving a sample review of Thunder next week. A sample review of SHODO-01 AI09 will start soon. Do you think we're getting 09 next week as well, like a little teaser?
Well, I think, I'm guessing what they're saying is just that, yeah, we're doing Ikazuchi in 08. Also, it's coming next week, so you can expect 09 stuff soon.
Okay.
It's kind of like they're just saying, we're wrapping up 08 with Ikazuchi.
Yeah. So, I mean, to everyone who threw in their suggestions, obviously Ikazuchi is the end of this. So it's just 9 and 10 we have left to predict.
Yeah. Of the pre-orders that have been made available.
Yeah. So, hey, yeah. Malunis.
Yes.
We had comments all over the Discord, and I know I typically put up the podcast topics like super late.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of want to dive into what everyone's saying about this stuff. And it looks like MB has completely overhauled his whole thing to Kabuto. So I have a feeling he likes Kabuto. He or she likes Kabuto. Yeah, what were some of the highlights? I know you were keeping up with this a lot more than I did because I was, posting the news. But what's everyone thinking? What's everyone saying?
Everyone's very excited. There was, I think, one or two people who were saying, Oh, I was hoping for Kabuto to be in Soto. I think you might be one of those people.
I mean, yeah, I was in that camp.
And also, I think this was Blade Raider who said that it seems like they've re-released Kabuto, but they still have not done the mask form.
Yeah.
Blade Raider even, I think, specifically said this would have been an opportunity to do it because you'd be making a new Kabuto, so you could potentially make the parts removable.
That's true, and it does appear that, like... Well, then again, like, they don't like leaving holes like that, and the ones they do for the swap out parts here for Hyper Kabuto, they're all covered up by different parts once you're in the next form. So I don't know how feasible it would have been to do a part swap situation here.
Yeah.
But a completely separate figure probably would have been great. If they do end up releasing Gatak and Zabi and the rest of them at retail, or maybe even in Shodo-O, I feel like a premium set could be the place for the armored up forms.
I don't want to get your hope. I don't want to get your hope up on Gatak, but wouldn't it be neat if they did Gatak and then Gatak Hyperform from the Hyper Battle video?
Oh yeah, it absolutely would. Though no secondary rider, if they don't, I don't know if this is like a solid thing, but outside of the end, if your main rider isn't showing up with you, you're probably not making it. Or if you don't show up with a main rider, you're probably not making it into the main line.
Ooh.
But I don't know. I like in recent memory, that's how it fits together for me. That's how I sort of remember it.
Yeah.
So I don't know how Gatak's gonna happen, but if you're throwing Punch Hopper and Kick Hopper, who are completely new molds, no, not completely new, but like just as remolded as a Gatak would have been, if you're throwing them into O without doing Gatak first, then I feel like Gatak might be either mainline or premium. I don't know that he'll hit O, because I don't know that they do Punch Hopper and Kick Hopper before Gatak.
Also, I can't remember if this has been proven wrong or not, but hasn't Shodo-O so far just been antagonist characters?
Yeah, it has. I want to say that there's... Who all can... Yeah, I mean, it's more antagonistic. I get that. But I'm just saying, like, why would they do them before Gatak?
I guess
if he wasn't making it into somewhere else.
I guess it would probably depend on how popular the character is, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't ever see them doing an X wave of him and Zabi or anything. I just don't. Like, he is popular, sure, but he'd be more, because like O is like fan favorite stuff as well. Like that's what drives that one too. So I don't know. I don't think Gatak's making it into the main line. But yeah, I don't know, unless they do like a secondary set, like if they throw in some secondaries we haven't done yet. And then Gatak. But I don't know who's left, because they've done Knight in the main line. So that's one of the ones where I'm like, okay, he showed up with his main rider. But, you know, if your secondary rider isn't showing up in the main line, then he might not make it at all, sort of thing. Yeah. Like G3 had to wait for a premium set.
I can't remember. Did Gatak have a unique bike? That just also came to mind when he comes up.
He did.
Okay.
Like Kabuto had the Kabuto extender, and the Gatak had like.
Okay, yeah. Now I remember it. I remember it transforming. Yeah. Because
those things cast off as well, so it would be a neat spot for that. But once again, Showa riders are mainly the ones getting their bikes. The only one that got their bike and wasn't Showa was, I believe it was Fize. And that might be it.
Okay, well, the fact that he has a unique bike also shot down my theory, which is that I remember there was a bike that multiple characters used. I might just be thinking of the toy line. Because there was like a singular bike that I remember the toy line had different windshields for it, that had different rider emblems.
I don't remember that bike.
Oh.
All I remember is the Kabuto extender, that thing transformed, and then different from that one was Gatax that split in half.
Yeah, the Zabi was the one that had that motorcycle, which was just like a standard kind of armored motorcycle. Right.
But like, the thing is here, like, this reminds me of a lot of what they're getting to with the Ryuki stuff. Because that base body, you could print tons of money with that base body. So you've got Gatax undersuit. You could just apply that to plenty of places outside of punch and kick hopper. So I feel like he's premium. I don't know that he's mainline. I feel like he's premium.
Yeah, I guess.
But I could be wrong. Like, they could throw him into a secondary set with Gatak and Riderman. Potentially. Like, that could be the theme.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Malunis? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool. What else were they saying here?
Really just a lot of hype in general for this set, because I think it's mainly just about Kabuto. Not as much love for Super 1, unless that's changed since I was looking.
I haven't really oh, wait. I don't know. Blade Raider's saying something about Hyper Kabuto's first appearance in the movie. Is that third act? Yeah. There's a connection to Super 1. Super 1 Silver Gloves now has 2 joints. Now I can get the tassels pointing down more often. Me like, okay, yeah. Wait, what's the connection to Super 1? Oh, right. The Hyper Kabuto first appeared in the movie. That the third act takes place in space.
Yep.
There's a connection to Super 1. Is Super 1 a space-themed something?
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be an astronaut.
Oh, okay. Cute. All right.
That made it all the more tragic that there was never really a specific crossover with Super 1 and Forza.
Well, yeah. There are a lot of things that they could have done and definitely should have done, but absolutely didn't. And I get it, just because, like, you know, Toku is a they run a tight ship anyway, you know.
Yeah.
But
that was also during that was during what I remember being referred to as the all-writer period, where they didn't really give personality to crossover characters. It was just referred to as the all-writer entity, where everyone just kind of shows up and just silently fights.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were going to do a review.
We're an hour in. So I'll be quick. Like, I do want to do something a little bigger for these later on. But I'll be quick on my sort of overlook of these guys. They're really great figures.
YU-DO X.
Genuinely very cool.
YU-DO X Kiramager, just for those wondering.
Oh, right. Yeah. YU-DO X Kiramager is what we're talking about right now. Something I noted earlier was that, you know, the arm stickers, they aren't as egregious as pictures made it look. They look all right in hand. Excuse me, and I applied them. I said this on the streets, and I got a lot of flack for it because they made fun of me for saying this. But there are these moments in the stickering process that are really great. When you lay down a sticker, sometimes, like for most of these stickers, the sticker lines up perfectly with the painted line that it is continuing. And that's really cool stuff to see.
Nice.
The geometries just work on a lot of these stickers. The one that surprised me and caught me off guard the most was the shoulder pad sticker. If you locate the sticker using the cutout of the shoulder pad, and then press it down from there, the cutout that they have on the sides of it perfectly line it up on the shoulder pad itself. Like, the cutout is so perfectly done that the geometries just sort of fit together, and it's so satisfying.
Nice.
And same with the racing stripe on the front of them. There is a bit of an issue where there's a lot of there's a tear-ish in the sticker when you lay it down. Like, obviously it's not intentional, but it happened to a lot of the figures that I did it on, just in the way that it folds. But if you lay it down perfectly, and most times it was easy to do because there are points to locate your sticker with, it perfectly matches up with the seam line. Perfectly.
Now, they made fun of you for that, but I have put it down enough stickers on these candy toy figures to appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Okay.
It's like I've had one or two figures. I can only remember across Evil where it was just like, oh, the printing is very slightly off.
Yeah, I mean, there are moments of that as well, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm.
The band across the biceps, they overlap on the back, so you're not going to see them much. But the tampography on there, not tampography, but the printing on there, they don't quite line up.
Ew.
Like, I've had stickers that sort of overlap, and usually they're just like, a silver band over it, and they don't carry any detail. But these did carry detail, and when there was overlap, it's not that they didn't make any effort to line it up perfectly, like line up the etchings perfectly, because they're close, but they're just slightly off. The forearm stickers are on the guys, it's easier to locate because they have a little cutout for the left arm, and like overall they were easy to locate, even though if you're applying them, you might understand what I'm about to say. Like, there's not a really good place to locate it in the center of the sticker, so it just sort of floats there. But a lot of times I was able to just go by eyeing it and getting it down perfectly. Sometimes, and that sticker is larger than it has to be, so there is overlap, and there were times where I would have too much, like I wouldn't have laid down enough and the sticker was up a little bit and I just had to smooth it out somehow, so there was breakage there sometimes, but not too frequently. The belt, I tried so hard to locate that properly, but I think on either side it's just too long, just slightly, a hair too long, on either side. And when I located it on one side, the other side would have too much belt, if that makes sense. So
right.
Yeah, there's that. I have a lot of good things to say about these stickers, and the bad stuff isn't even that bad. The little tear in the chest stripe, it's fine. Just take a panel lining Gundam marker to that little area and you're good to go.
Yeah. Two things I was also curious about. One was, so I knew before that the YU-DO figures are very, very slightly taller than SHODO. How do these compare? Are they about the same as previous YU-DO?
Yeah, just about the same. They're like a half head taller. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's weird.
So,
but still,
it is strange. Like, Blade Raider and I were talking about this over the Discord. but it's weird to me that they're not scaled the same.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, for me, opening up Red, his proportions were strange. Like, the girls are fine, but Red made me notice that, like, when you suck in the arms, it does not look right. The hips are, like, way too far out in proportion to how far the shoulders are out, and when you pull out the arms all the way, then they're, I want to say, maybe just a little too far out. And the forearms are so long that it looks really weird. But if you push them in all the way, and then have the arms out right in front of them, and just sort of like gently gently press it into the chest. This would make more sense if I had a visual for you, but gently press it into the chest to like cantilever the joint out. It feels like there is a soft detent midway through that gets you this really nice proportion between the shoulders. So, you know, try that if you're not fully happy with all the way in and all the way out. It feels like there's a soft detent in the center.
Oh, the other thing I was curious about, how you feel about the new hands, the ball jointed ones?
It's neat. I mean, obviously I'm not getting as much range of motion as I thought, but it is nice to have that little variance. It's fun. Honestly, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think we've had this discussion in the Discord before, but I was just reiterating it. I would like to see that for SHODO, but the one thing kind of holding me back from saying, yeah, do that, is the fact that I like the consistency so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I do wonder, because you know how sometimes ball joints will work in in just regular pegs?
You gonna try something?
Oh, no.
Oh.
I just did. You know what? This is the Valkyrie figure. This might have a different... No.
Nah.
Hand should be the same size. Let's see if... Sorry, this is me testing it out, like, right this second. I think the ball joints are... You know how the... Oh, wow. Okay, so the right hand is too tight, the right hand peg is too tight, and the left hand peg is too wide. So there is no Goldilocks here when it comes to that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Probably test it with my other YU-DO figures. Like, if the ball joints, you could just seat them in there. But I'll probably do that later.
Yeah.
Also,
worth the try.
Remember how I was saying that there are 3 different guns?
Yeah.
One with meat removal on either side, and then the one with the peg?
Yeah.
I still don't understand the point with the meat removal on the other side.
Yeah.
It's an interesting consideration, and I'm thankful that they tried something new. I just don't understand what the point was.
Yeah, I think it might just be... I think I've said this before. The one thing I didn't really like about Vulcan's shot riser design is that it means that if you want to show off the gun, the actual detail of the gun, you have to kind of pose them in a way that shows off that side of the weapon. And I think I feel like that's the thought process behind the guns for Kiramager.
It definitely could be. But I really wish, I wish that they would give us... I know people don't like it when you put sticker over empty spots, but if you gave us a sticker just on the other side, you don't even have to fill in those empty areas, because there is mass where you could put another sticker.
Yeah.
So that would have been neat. My last thing about this that I really want to talk about, because, obviously articulation and all that stuff, generally the same.
Yeah.
But going back to the sticker, because for me, the stickers were a really big part of why I like these. Do keep in mind the sticker of the changer itself has no way for you to properly locate it, and you're just going to have to eyeball it. Be careful when you're lifting it off of the sticker sheet. I've heard that people are having that sticker rip off, and also if this is your first time getting it, don't worry. It looks fine if you just, paste it back on with its own stick, because it happened to my red. It was my first one, and then the sort of strip of the wheel
tire
ripped off. Once you have it in hand, you'll understand.
Yeah.
It sort of ripped off, but I just stuck it back on, and it's fine. Like, don't freak out. It's fine. It's just something to be aware of. Be careful of that when you're stickering it.
I'm guessing the unique detailing is like the little buttons on the top.
Yeah. So that's how you locate it.
Yeah, but I was going to say the rule of thumb usually with SHODO stickers is that there's a certain position you can kind of hold it in to get the right position. Like, it's when the number is in the top left corner. That's like, okay, that's usually the intended position, and I would assume that the instructions kind of give you an idea of how to place the sticker based on that.
They do, right? It makes sense on the box, but there's not an easy way to like anchor the sticker in order to make it perfectly straight.
Yeah. You're just trusting a circle.
Huh?
You're trusting a circle instead of a square.
Yeah, pretty much. And on top of that, before you go in and sticker it, I would go in with either maybe a file, or what I used was just my X-Acto knife and shaved off some of the mold flash on there.
Oh yeah.
Just flatten it out, because you're putting a flat sticker on there. Do yourself a favor. It'll look way better in the long run. Even if you chunk off a little bit too much, you're just trying to smooth out that area so that once you put that sticker down, it won't look like there's a raised portion in the center. Yeah, that's mostly what I wanted to say on these guys. It's a really fun set, and I definitely recommend the whole thing. Like, with Ryu Soldier, something about the stickering process I didn't like, and I feel like it came down to a lot of like stickers in not good places and all over the face, and it really didn't lend itself to making this look good. But these are a step up. Like, the stickering process was enjoyable, or at least as enjoyable as it could be. And I don't want to like say this hyping up the stickers too much, because at the end
I was gonna say
they are stickers, but
I was gonna say very uncharacteristic of you when you said earlier. So my favorite thing about this is the stickers.
It's the stickering process. It's done in a way that, it's, how like a transformer has these interesting parts, like interesting transformation points. There are these interesting sticker moments where I'm like, wow, that really fits. That really fits well, and weirdly, that had more of those moments for me than I've ever had.
Weirdly, as soon as you were saying Transformers, I was just thinking Repro Labels. They have very nice stickers.
They do. But yeah, these are pretty good.
Nice.
And like, the stickers aren't in places where you're going to be touching as often, or like, the stickers that are there are very durable. That's another thing. Like, once you stick them down, it's hard to get a second try out of it, but they're there. They are not lifting. Good. Like, these are durable stickers. So, that's another thing that I really appreciate out of these. Like, this is such a step up in terms of a stickering experience. And keep in mind, there are a significant amount of those stickers. But I don't know, they've got some sort of like sticking formula down. And like I said, those moments of things just perfectly lining up are very rewarding when putting these together, because you and I, we've stickered so many things, and you've said this, it really sucks when stickers don't want to behave, and a lot of these behaved.
Yeah. I'm glad they finally made a very, very good step up from what they've been doing with YU-DO. Shame considering the current state of Sentai.
Yeah, I mean, current state of Toku in general. But I do hope for more of these. I don't know what more they could do, what more to get out of this line, but I am excited to see where X goes.
Yeah.
This gives me some pretty high hopes. Like, I don't know, I can't get over how good the stickering process was on these guys, and they're just fun figures to play with and mess around with. Like, these will be on my desk for a while.
Let me help you adjust your expectations a bit and say that Kiramager Silver has a lot of orange on him that I'm guessing is going to be a lot of stickers.
I'm interested to see how that turns out. Like, I'm not dreading those stickers like I would a standard release.
That's a really that's a really positive recommendation.
Yeah. I don't know. From a man that doesn't like stickers, these are all right. Pretty good.
Nice.
That's really all I've had to say about these guys. Only good things. Tell me what you guys thought in the comments down below. But we do have some people talking about it. We posted this as the topic. Peacemaker2448 says, they look great. Hope the show gets fully covered this time. Blade Raider says, haven't had the chance to get them, but they look great. That's it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a very tough one to sort of do last minute. I do apologize. I mean, we'll get better at that. And another thing that I'm getting better at is posting the audio. If you haven't subscribed to us on Spotify or iTunes or whatever, I've been posting that audio a lot more recently. One has been coming out every day at the time of this recording. Into like a few days into June, like I want to say 2 or 3. I'm hoping to be a bit more diligent and throw a lot more in the can to, have going up there so that we can finally catch up. Like, the last time I started updating them, I was like, oh man, I'm catching up. And then months later, I'm like, oh no, I'm so far behind. So those are coming. If you like listening,
that sounds like me with watching shows.
That's fair, man. Like, it is a little bit of a chore to do, but I realize, podcasts are supposed to exist on an audio format only. Not only, but it helps if they exist on podcast platforms that aren't YouTube, because it's not a podcast platform. It's just a place where podcasts are sometimes. So they're going up there. I'm really hoping to catch up. Thank you for your patience. If you're listening from the future on a pod,
if you're listening
here, my mouth is done. Keep it juicy.
Kiramager
Henshin. Stratos.
Cast off. Change. Shodo-X.